That thing ain't going nowhere, I guarantee you that. Check out my new little mini utility trailer. I'm not gonna lie, I got a lot of trailers, we know that, but I actually have quite a few of these little tiny trailers, way more than you would ever expect. I think they're cool, but somehow all of the ones that I have were they're too small to fit my side-by-side in it. So I picked this thing up from my buddy David at the trailer store out in Winnemucca, the guy I buy all my trailers from. And basically, it was to check off something off the list I needed to probably years ago. Before my grandmother passed away, I told her and her husband they should go buy one of these things rather than rent a U-Haul every time they want to move a piece of plywood or something because they didn't have a truck. And they never bought one. They both passed. And I thought, shoot, I'm going to go get one of these things. And it's, for the price that David is selling these things for, friggin' not bad. I mean, it fits a side-by-side in there real nice. It's got the obvious ramp on the back, seized up. There we go. And check this out. I thought this was funny. I don't know if all these little trailers do this, or just this one does because it doesn't have a stopper. You go aerodynamic mode when you don't have a load in there, it holds back. But somehow my uncle's ended up with this thing. I've never actually got to use it, but my uncle's used it quite a bit. He's got a little booth that he puts in this thing and does Christmas shows and draft horse classic stuff for horses and stuff like that. He's got a booth he puts in there. So we're gonna get this thing set up so he can put his booth in here. It's a powered booth, but if the power goes out on the booth and he can't motorize himself up on there, we're gonna get a winch set up on it. And we got a couple other things, like one of the tail lights got broken, but he gave me new lights. I'm just gonna slap them on there. He's busy taking care of some other stuff, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this for him. And we get a chance to use the new welder / plasma cutter. One and done, trip pony? I don't know, let's go get that thing. I don't know what planet you guys are on, but if you took one look at me and thought anything besides that, I don't have that much words for you. It's obvious. But here's the new welder. Plasma cut, and we're gonna need the plasma cut right off the bat because we got an idea. The main order of concern right here is rather than put a winch on everything, if you got a broken side-by-side, golf cart, whatever, little mini tractor, or this booth for my uncle, we could just put a winch right here and then it's always there. But then you got to buy a winch for me. I would have to buy like a dozen winches, put one on every trailer. Or you just get a piece of 2-inch receiver stock from Harbor Freight and cut it down in 4-inch pieces, and you got 8 of those off of one rip. Weld it right here, and then just simply put the winch in it with the receiver stock, and then you can take this winch and put it on the back of the truck, whatever. But we got a problem. OCD on all of us is saying that it's got to go right dead center. Well, if you put it right dead center, this piece of angle's right in the way. That's the problem. Put it over here, then your brain has conflict with yourself and decisions. I ain't gonna do that. Same thing with over here and over here. Could put it right here, but I've honestly ran into issues with putting the winch right there at the front of the trailer, and the winch line trying to hook onto stuff. Once you get it up close, it pulls it straight down rather than in. So we're gonna put a fair lead right there. I just gotta go find that bad boy and we'll install it. You guys are always excited to see Callahan joining in on the fights down here in the shop. Well, we just went and picked up the trailer, and he wasn't supposed to be taking a nap. It's getting close to dinner time, but for the price of the trailer, I didn't think the paint was gonna take me more than a quarter second to look at it before it fell off. It's still on there. Okay, that makes more sense. One thing I could ever keep track of. I'm probably better keeping track of a 10mm than I am keeping track of a dang old Sharpie. There's our center. Something in that realm. All right, I got this baby somewhat centered, mocked up. I don't need to TIG weld this, but it just sounded like something kind of fun to do. So we're gonna try and mess up my tungsten about 50 times trying to weld in this corner. But we are practicing, so sounds good to me. Let's see what we can do here. And once we do that, I still haven't found my fair lead, so that's a bummer. Gotta find that. Yeah, that bad boy tigged on there. Yeah, it's not easy to start on the edge of nothing. So that's why there's a gaposis in the thickness there. Let's see how this side did. Yep, for holding a 2,500 pound winch, ain't going nowhere. I'm pretty sure these welds will break before that one does. Not gonna lie, pretty happy with how those welds played out. They not too terrible. The only real downside to it is this gun's not really designed for, you know, thicker steel, I would say. The multi-handler ain't really directed to do everything at the utmost full tilt all the time. So I'll probably not TIG weld the rest of that. We're gonna switch this bad boy over to the plasma cutter. Where's the gun for it? There it is. And we're gonna cut out that steel, and then we're gonna cut out a plate for the sucker to go onto for the fair lead with the plasma cutter. So that's gonna be kind of neat. Kind of excited to try that out. TIG welding is freaking fun though, I'll say that way. See if this baby's just gonna screenshot right through it for us. It was very close to being all the way through that. Just gonna use this whole piece right here in order to know what we need to cut out of the center. Take a little bit extra, leave on the tops. I don't think it's quite 1/4 inch. No, definitely not. But that turned out pretty nice. I had minimal slag. Look how, hopefully you guys can see that, but I'm not gonna get too carried away with how smooth that is for freehand. That did pretty good. Pretty dang on good. Go there. Okay. Pitted steel, you don't really have an option. Oh, no way this is gonna work, but we're gonna try. Kinda worked. I think that's kinda cool. I like it. I like it a lot. It's funny. That's what makes it cool. Maybe. I feel like we gotta crank the truck up. Well, I had to turn the exhaust fan on once I started doing that friggin' arc welding. What do we got here? We have to polish this one off. Save that for a small. Dang. Those are limited supply. Just got a call 15 minutes ago. Said dinner's ready. So let's go ahead and give this thing a rattle can. And then when we come back, we can throw the hardware in it. Throw the winch in. And all we got to do is replace the taillights, then this thing's ready to go. I got to drop it off tomorrow. Look how those welds turned out. I like it. Worked out good. You hit these while they're hot. It's a powder coat. Make sure you get overspray on your earmuffs back there too. For the arc welding, whatever. That thing ain't going nowhere, I guarantee you that. For somebody that's arc welded 8 minutes back in high school. Folks, how do we like that? It's a little bit extra, but sometimes extra is cool. And I think it's pretty cool and it's funny. I had an extra fair lead because I left one of these winches in the back of the side-by-side on the old plate like this. And, well, side-by-side evidently, it's got a waterproof bed on it. So it just filled up and flooded the motor on it, and it rusted all together on the inside. So I had the fair lead for this winch floating around because I didn't take the one off of there because it was welded on. It's good to go. But I didn't even think to consider the fact that it's on a 2-inch riser for the receiver hitch anyway. So it is the same height, really close. But I didn't want to cut out that piece in the center and just let it run willy-nilly. I think this is neat having it on there. Just a little bit extra. It took me maybe 30 minutes to cut that piece out and weld it on there. Really wasn't too much time. And it's kind of neat looking. Gives people pause and go, what the heck's going on here? I could possibly get a big winch in here and really break the trailer in half. But I put a nylock nut on there and a bolt through it, obviously, so that maybe it'll slow somebody down wanting to steal this thing if it gets parked up at, Daco Tree. And then I ran a regular nut on there, lock it down. So I have battery box and or ammo can, depending on what's going on, to put on there. But I don't think I'm gonna worry about that right now. I'm just gonna go back there and knock out that tail lights and call this project done deal. We're in business. These little trailers, I tell you what, we got a problem right here. These safety chains, they're never long enough if you're running one of these deals, because this thing stretches it out a little bit extra. So by the time you get back up in here, that's all fine and dandy. You can't cross it over. And then if you back up like I did into here and turned it, and then you're ready to disconnect, it binds up or gets stuck underneath that, and or that could be bumping on that. Just not ideal. I'm fairly confident that this, okay, that thing is stronger than, well, never mind. The sport truck's got an aftermarket draw tight, and draw tight makes some heavy duty stuff. Look at that. That thing's twice as thick as it normally is. But I was gonna say, your conventional rig, this hitch is twice as strong as the hitch that it's going into. Let's take a step out of the shop from where all the grinding and welding's been going on the last couple hours and just listen to the night sky. Oh yeah. It's been downpouring the last week. Kind of weather to fill the pond in a day or two. But stars are out. It's going to get cold tonight. Actually came down to the wire on this little project. My uncle needs this trailer in a couple of days for the shows. And it's been on the books for a couple of weeks to get it done. We just haven't really had time. But I'm happy to knock it out. How it works is my uncle's booth for the Christmas shows is it's like a wagon cart, old wagon cart looking thing, cowboy deal. And it's got electric motors, self-propelled. It can drive itself around the job site or the shows. But if you lose that self-propulsion, it's very difficult to push it up on even this low profile of a trailer. And even if it was lower or higher, I would still say having the winch on there is such a simple, cheap investment that if you only use it even the one time, it's going to pay for itself. Because rather than use the ratchet tie downs or whatever, it's, thanks to Harbor Freight now, that's like $100, $150. You can get a 12K winch on sale for $300. That's what I run on the big trailers, and I've used it countless times, and it saved me so much headache and effort. I remember, anytime I borrowed or helped somebody out with a trailer back in the day or even till now, it's like, why don't you have a winch on there? I want put the ammo can on there. Hopefully a lawnmower battery can tuck in there, but I got the controls for the winch in it. And I like these little trailers. They're super helpful when you need them. Having something like this in the fleet, if somebody needed to borrow it rather than them going and renting something, I just soon let them borrow it. I'll use it maybe once, twice a year, maybe haul the side-by-side. But like if you went to Home Depot and you needed to haul some plywood or something like that, or you're picking up some furniture and you don't have a truck or, a long bed or something like that, you can rent something like this from Home Depot. If you rented something from them half a dozen times, you could have just bought one of these little trailers. These things are very affordable, even with putting the winch on there. So I'm more than happy to lend this to my uncle or friends or family whenever they need something like this. It's not the end of the world. I like doing favors like that. If they can, if it saves their week or their day by having the simple use of a trailer, by all means, come snag it up. These little trailers, that's what I started off with. I built a trailer like this, almost exactly like it, just slightly smaller dimensions, out of an old jet ski unit. And I put deck on it, sideboards, put a ramp on the back, and actually towed it behind my 96 for quite a few years. That's what I pretty much started with, towing four-wheelers and lawnmowers around behind that thing going to the job sites. I even had a winch on that. It was a hand crank one, but that thing, the one for the jet ski trailer, I just mounted it on the headache rack that I built, and man, I use that thing all the time. It saved me so much effort, and you could tie stuff down with it. You're hauling propane bottles, you can just put the winch over the top and just tighten them down. It just, something like that just goes a long way. So I'm going to drop this off for my uncle tomorrow so he can get his booth and everything loaded up and head to the shows this week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this simple little project. You just got to remember your roots and get excited about it every once in a while. Get excited where you're at now. But we'll see you guys on the next one. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think about my TIG welding. My TIG welding, I will say, is way better than my arc welding. See you guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it a lot. Hit the like button. We'll see you.